church. Sometimes I get stoned in my backyard, lay off in the tall grass so my view is the stars. I think about nothing, get to clear my thoughts from all the thunder and lightning, so I feel a spark. Sometimes I get higher than the Colorado Rockies, hoping that the county sheriff don't stop me. Like Charlie Daniels said, you shouldn't smoke at dough, but damn it, I can't help, I love Rolling Stone. With the windows rolled down and the radio up, sweet tea full in my solo cup, listening to the humming of the 44, sounding like a concert. I'm a beat up door, arm hanging out the window, smiling away, smoking on some ground where the cattle graze. Charlie Daniels said you shouldn't go smoke at dough. Hell, I can't help, I love Rolling Stone. Yeah, I love Rolling Stone. Smoke rolling round the cab with the dome light on, looking like a stage for a Leonard Skinner song. Hanging out with Mary Jane, but she's making the time go slow. Making memories with my buddies through the thick green smoke, puff passing out the windows of my old Tahoe. Lifted so damn high I can't come down, driving under the speed limit in my town. With the windows rolled down and the radio up, sweet tea full in my solo cup, listening to the humming of the 44, sounding like a concert. I'm a beat up door, arm hanging out the window, smiling away, smoking on some ground where the cattle graze. Charlie Daniels said you shouldn't go smoke at dough. Hell, I can't help, I love Rolling Stone. Yeah, I love Rolling Stone. There ain't nothing like the swaying of a windy back road, baked out like a barn full of tobacco.
Sweet tea, good morning. This is your theme song now.
Sweet tea full in our solo cups.
There we go, perfect timing.
Like a concert.
Now I know why you said it was your theme song.
Smiling away, smoking on some ground where the cattle graze. Oh, Willie said there's not nothing wrong with smoking. No. So light one up and let's go Rolling Stone. So pass me that and let's start Rolling Stone.
I'm gonna play one more song. I got one more thing to do, and then I'll be back in here.
Everybody's high on consolation. Everybody's trying to tell me what is right for me. Yeah. My daddy tried to bore me with a sermon, but it's plain to see that they can't comfort me. Sorry, Charlie, for the imposition. I got the strength to carry on, yeah. I need a drink and a quick decision. Now it's up to me. What will be? She's gone. I better learn how to face it. She's gone. I pay the devil to replace her. She's gone. And she's gone. What went wrong? Get up in the morning, look in the mirror. I'm on as a toothbrush hanging in the stand, yeah. My face ain't looking any younger.
Now I can see love taking her toll on me.
She's gone.
I better learn how to face it.
She's gone. She's gone, all right. America is gone. Well, at least America as we know it. Things have changed forever. Hold on one second here. I don't even really have any bookmarks. So I'm just going to go down the feed. Share screen. Let's get up to the top. I do have a couple that I'll play first, just to get it started. All right. This is in Dubai. Some rich guy has paid a bunch of people to cover a G-Wagon and Louis Vuitton bags.
No!
Looks AI to me, but some of it. Why would you do that? This is where all of our gas money is going. Not impressed. I don't know why I bookmarked that, other than I think it's just a complete waste of money. And somebody just, I don't know. Can't put my finger on that one. We'll move on. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. Okay. This lady's name is Nana Akua, easily the worst Great Britain news host. She was getting embarrassed by our Ben McLean on Palestine, so she decided to kick him off. Let's just listen to this real quick. We'll listen to 30 seconds, and then I'll give you my take.
We're going to have to move on. Thank you very much. He's the chairman of the National Jewish Assembly. Right, let's get the thoughts now of Ben McLean, who is editor and contributor at Turn Left Media. Ben, we're recognising this as a Palestinian state. Gary pointed out we don't even know where the boundaries are, the borders, the capital, who will actually run this. Do you think the Kurdistan was kind of jumping the gun? What will it achieve?
Well, the same accusation would be true of Israel. Israel does not tell us where its boundaries should be. It's a criticism of Israel that goes all the way back to the 1970s, because they are illegally occupying their neighbors. That is the opinion of the International Court of Justice. They say that Gaza has been illegally.
I don't know at what point he gets kicked off. Let's see here.
Right, this isn't going to get anywhere, so I'm going to leave it there, Ben. There's no point because you're not listening to anything. Ben McLean, thank you very much, editor.
So, Keir Starmer, and I think I'll find the video somewhere. He just came out and said, as a lot of other countries, because every country, the global playbook is being rolled out once again, and all the talking points. And now one of the new talking points is so Great Britain, Keir Starmer, he came out and said that they back Palestine. They back Palestine as a nation. And I didn't know this until yesterday, and I don't know if you knew this, Sweet Tea. My roommate did. Israel Oh, okay. So, yeah. So Israel became a country in 1948. But Palestine before that was all Palestine, and it was ruled by Great Britain up until 1948. So that's just odd. I had no idea that Great Britain ruled Palestine. So of course they're going to back Palestine. And the reason why it says on ChatGPT that the reason why Israel was formed is because Jews were tired of being persecuted in Europe. And so they moved back to their homeland and they formed Israel. But now they're bombing all the countries around them, and it's getting ugly because I didn't know Palestine was under you. Yeah. I didn't either. Yeah, until 1948. But this is all, there's people that are, they're puppet masters at the very top are running this. So that leads me to believe that, like King Charles and his, they're always, they rule everything. They have a lot of countries under their rule. Let me see. Let me ask ChatGPT. How many countries are under British rule? It says the British Empire no longer exists in the way it once did, but the United Kingdom still has 14 overseas territories under its sovereignty. These are places around the world that remain constitutionally tied to the UK, but are not part of the United Kingdom itself. Examples include Bermuda, Gibraltar, the Falkland Islands, the Cayman Islands. Commonwealth realms like Canada, Australia, Jamaica recognize the British monarch as their head of state, but they are fully independent countries and not under British rule. The Commonwealth of Nations, 56 member states, is a voluntary association, not a governing body. Interesting. That really did. Excuse me. That didn't really tell me what I wanted to hear, but the fact that there's a figurehead king says a lot. Exactly. Yep. So we're just all being played, But that lady, and the title said it all. Nana Akua, easily the worst Great Britain news host. She's just ugly. Let's just face it. They can do better than that. This is the ground zero for DEI hire. Nobody wants to look at her. Just her face is going to be divisive, So, not trying to be mean, but they can do better than her for, rolling out the news. I don't know. She should go to like BET or MTV or Comedy Central, maybe something like that. That's just my opinion. Let's see here. Let's move to the next one. Joe Kent claims that Laura Loomer is being paid by Israel. I don't even really know who Laura. I know who she is. I know what she looks like. And I know she's being paid by Israel because I heard her on Joe Rogan, and she's hard to even listen to. She's so fake. And her eyebrows are so thick that she looks like a puppet. So, of course, she's Israeli. It's not a... Let's listen to this fucking clown speak his language, and then I'll tell you what he said.
יש לי מסר ברור לאותם מנהיגים שמכירים במדינה פלסטינית לאחר הטבח הנורא ב7 באוקטובר. אתם מעניקים פרס עצום לטרור. ויש לי מסר נוסף עבורכם. זה לא יהיה. לא תקום מדינה פלסטינית ממערב לירדן. במשך שנים אני מנעתי את הקמתה של מדינת טרור זו מול לחצים אדירים, גם מבית וגם מן החוץ. עשינו זאת בנחישות ועשינו זאת בתבונה מדינית. לא כל שכן. הכפלנו את ההתיישבות היהודית ביהודה ושומרון ונמשיך בדרך זו. המענה לניסיון האחרון לכפות עלינו מדינת טרור בלב ארצנו, המענה הזה יינתן לאחר שובי מארצות הברית. תמתינו.
So, and the lady said the guest was not listening, but she wasn't listening. Exactly. You know, they're just gaslighting, race baiting. It's just, I quit watching TV a long time ago. And that's one of the reasons why. I don't listen to the news on TV, any of that stuff. I don't even watch the news on YouTube. Very selective. So what did Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu really say? Since none of us here speak Israeli or whatever he said. That's what he said. And this is in response to Keir Starmer saying that they back Palestine. A Palestinian state will not be established. The response to the recent attempt to impose a terrorist state in the heart of our land will be given after my return to the U.S. So he says he's going to respond to this when he gets back from the United States. He gave this speech here in the United States, this motherfucker. I have a clear message to those leaders who recognize a Palestinian state after the terrible massacre on October 7th. You are giving a huge reward to terror. And first of all, I mean, I still don't know what happened on October 7th, nor do I care. I mean, it's one of those fake ass stories that comes out to push a narrative. Like, no October 7th in history, it stands out to me. I don't even know anybody's birthday. You know, there's no like me drawing back on that day and being like, fuck, man, that's fucked up. What? We don't even know what the fuck happened on October 7th. Apparently, somebody was attacking Israel. And so they had no choice but to like innocent Israelis were killed. Bullshit. I don't buy it for 1 second. And then he goes on to say, and I have another message for you. It will not happen. A Palestinian state will not be established west of the Jordan River. For years, I have prevented the establishment of this terror state despite enormous pressures both from within and from outside. We did this with determination, and we did it with political wisdom. Moreover, we have doubled Jewish settlement in Judea and Samaria, and we will continue on this path. The response to the recent attempt to impose terror state in the heart of our land will be given after my return from the United States. I mean, the level of go fuck your mother, I'm sorry, sweet to cuss, that I want to give this guy. And my buddy's like, you can't say that. I don't give a fuck. I mean, I just hope somebody just murks his ass. The world would be better off without him. I don't know what snake would rise out of his neck. Which snake head would rise out of his neck next? You know, who's it going to be next? But it can't, can it get worse than him? Maybe. Maybe the next guy is just going to be like, war. But this guy his level of arrogance is just absolutely astonishing. So anyway, according to this guy, Palestine is not going to happen. There will be no Palestine. And the world will see what my response is to this statement from Great Britain. And Great Britain ain't no pushover. You know what I mean? Like Great Britain, I guess, is one of those people, they walk lightly but carry a big stick. I think they pretty much invented that saying. Maybe that was Roosevelt. Is this going to lead to World War? Who are all the players involved in this? There's Cuba and Russia. North Korea's been very silent. There's Iran, Israel, the United States, the United Kingdom, Mexico, Venezuela. There's a lot of China. This is, globally, this is, I don't know what's happening. Very interesting. All right, here's President Trump, I think, making Erica Kirk laugh, trying to make her laugh at the funeral. You know, when I watch that, I'm fascinated by that scene, you know, and I really feel that that's what this is. It's just a scene. I'm gonna watch it again with no volume. And you look at those people in the background and walking by the camera. You know, those people in the background, of course, you know, I'm sure there's Secret Service there. The world is a stage. There's a backdrop already put up for them. You know, everything is planned. And how many people in this picture really know what happened to Charlie Kirk? Is Charlie Kirk still alive? We are living the Truman Show. That is for sure, Sweet Tea. One thing's for sure, you know, and I'm sure I'll come across a video. I think that was the last. I might have one more bookmarked video, but I'm just going to scroll through. There was a ballistics expert. I'm sure there's been many of them that showed what happens when a 30-06 bullet hits a neck, and it just basically blows it apart. And it will go through elk bone, and elk bone is way denser than our bone because it has to hold up over 1,000-pound animal. And so a 30-06 will go through elk bone each and every time. It doesn't just go through it, it explodes it. And so now they're trying to tell us that, and not only that, when the ballistics expert does the shots, not only does it blow, you know, through the neck, and sorry to be graphic, it completely blows through the back wall. I mean, it's obvious where, you know, it went through the wall. It's just a big hole there. So it's literally impossible. It's impossible for that have to been a 30-06 bullet. Impossible, from what they're saying. It's just literally impossible. So there's that. See if we can find that video. So here's a picture of Bobby Kennedy. And this caption says, every time I see Bobby Kennedy's face, Jr., I see deep pain. I believe this assassination has brought up many all too familiar, painful memories. Well, he had that same look on his face when Trump made an announcement. And is this it? Yeah, let's listen to this real quick. This is big news. It's Charlie Kirk's co-train. What's going down? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Listen to this real quick. Trump, you may have heard this. Listen to Trump talk about this. This is huge. I don't know if this was the place for it, but this was at the funeral yesterday.
And tomorrow we're going to have one of the biggest announcements, really medically, I think, in the history of our country. We're going to be doing it with Bobby and Oz and all of the professionals. I think you're going to find it to be amazing. I think we found an answer to autism. How about that? Autism. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking in the Oval Office in the White House about autism.
So what does that mean? that type of bullet can go through half-inch steel from 100 yards away, but soft neck tissue stopped it dead in its track. Yeah, in the official story Cochrane is saying that the bullet was in the body. That's the autopsy, right? Black Scout survival was, yeah, exactly. And that might have been the person that I listened to. You're 100%. In fact, not only did he do, if it's the same guy, he did one where it completely went through the neck, basically decapitation, and it's visible of, you're talking like, I'm just going to guess and say 6-inch, radius of damage into the wall. And he says it blows through the wall every time. Like it's every time 100%. There's not a scenario where it doesn't fucking go through the wall. And so, and not only that, what else was I going to say? I forget now. But yeah, no, you're right. Oh, and they did one with the body plate. They put a body plate on him, and it just broke it. It just took the piece out where it hit, was gone. So very, very fascinating. Stay frosty, stay strapped. Yeah, 100%. Here in Tacoma, Washington, it's getting dangerous. More and more dangerous every day, I notice. Like I just popped on Facebook for 1 second this morning, and somebody that I know posted a news article from just down the street from me. I live on 43rd, and this was on 38th. And then a few blocks down, somebody got shot and killed. I think two people got shot. They just find the bodies in the parking lots and on the streets now. Nobody knows nothing. It's fucking crazy. So, but anyway, autism. Is this bullshit? Because remember when Trump was on stage with Larry Oracle, I think is his name. I always get them mixed up. There's Larry Fink from BlackRock, but Larry Oracle, I think is the other guy's name. Larry something. Or maybe his company is Oracle. But they were talking about a cure for cancer. But now he's saying he didn't say they had a cure. Let's listen to this again. See what he says. I'm going to fast forward to halfway through.
Amazing. I think we found an answer to autism. How about that?
I think we found an answer to autism. What do you mean by answer? Are we talking prevention? Like they're gonna stop giving our kids autism? Or now, you know what I mean? Is he going to come out and say, here's a shot, you have to take this shot, here's a vaccine that gets rid of autism? I mean, anything's possible at this point. What are they going to fucking tell us? Fluoride's been in the water forever. So, I'm all for getting rid of the fluoride. But that's a whole nother thing. I don't think that's what's causing autism. I'm really curious. I don't know. Very interested. Hold on. Hey, Patty, how are you? Excuse me. Let me drink some of my coffee here real quick. My daughter's high school got locked down last Wednesday. Someone called in saying they're in a bathroom with a bomb and AK people. Yeah. And I heard that a lot of professionals, including Robert Kennedy, had a bomb threat at his house. I know Alex Jones is always getting swatted. So let's see here. Hey, Osada Cochrane, good to see you. Good morning, Patty. I have to wait and see what they say about autism. Found an answer could mean identify the chromosome. Yeah, exactly, Sweet Tea. It's hard to say, and just like, I don't think that's the place for it, honestly, to do it right there. But I mean, I guess the world was listening. I don't know. I don't like anything that's going on these days. So, but yeah, no, I guess we'll find out. He's back at the White House already. Things have never been, things are heating up. And the one thing that I can't stop thinking about, if history repeats itself, Martin Luther King was shot. I looked this up yesterday. He was shot like April 4th, I think, or April 8th, 1968. And then Robert Kennedy was shot June 6th, 1968. 2 months and 2 days apart. So the way that this whole event is playing out, if history repeats itself, and the fact that it was basically on 9/11, it happened on 9/10, so everything just lines up. Is there going to be, is it somebody else going to get fucking shot in November? That would put it at November 12th if it was two months and 2 days. That's right around election time. So could it be like a week before that? Who fucking knows at this point? Not saying that it would happen, but it is just very strange that, at a memorial, we're going to talk about autism and not talk about making the country safer, I think would be, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Something is definitely causing that. There weren't all the, 100% there weren't. And, here in Washington State, we have 29 Native American tribes. And I'll tell you, Alex Jones, I think, was talking about this a while back, that girls have a thicker, I don't know what it is, like a membrane or something around their brain that allows them to be less susceptible to whatever's causing autism. It doesn't penetrate their brain as easily as it does boys. So you notice that way more boys have autism than girls. And on the Native American reservations, it's scary. It's got to be, I don't know what the percentage is, but I'm thinking it's got to be around 100% for the boys. We have levels of lockdowns and evacuation codes at school. That's new this year. When certain codes that tell us the lockdown drill is over in case an administrator is forced to cancel lockdown. Interesting. How do you feel about that, Sweet Tea? Do you think that's going to save lives if it ever happened? Is it a good thing or bad thing? Because, it's part of the AI thing. I think it's the AI takeover. AI is going to tell us what to do. It's going to tell us what time to go to school, what time to go to work. And my mom, before she passed away in 2017, dealt with this. She was one of the first people, I think, to deal with the AI type of thing. Guess what nobody's talking about anymore? The list. Lots of deflecting and redirecting going on. Yeah, that's a good point. And I think I have a video that I'm going to start just scrolling through X of Charlie Kirk saying something about but no, you're right. We pay our taxes to pedophiles. Let's be honest. And that's one of the things that is so, fucked up about this country, is that our tax money is being peddled by pedophiles. And it's sickening. So it needs to stop. But how do you stop it when everybody's a pedophile? The lawyers, the fucking everybody. They're all, and is Trump blackmailed? Is he compromised? Why is Israel fucking in all of our shit? And I fucking hate Great Britain's fucking Keir Starmer. I can't stand that motherfucker. But I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not upset at the fact that he came out and said they support Palestine. At least there's some fucking pushback somewhere. We're not going to allow those motherfuckers to just fucking kill everybody and bomb everybody and just take over the United States and tell us what to fucking do. Fuck that. I'm sick of that fucking anti-Semitic and all that fucking bullshit. How about the fucking kids that walk back and forth to school that have to walk over fucking drug addicts and fucking garbage and, it's just, I can't even get started with that. It just enrages me. They don't care about regular fucking Americans. They don't care about the youth in this country. They say they do. Oh, Charlie Kirk created, the youth is rising up. Motherfuckers, you're not even taking care of your own people, your own kids. You're in fucking these la lands. Well, we'll see what he says about autism. They compartmentalize everything. Okay, guys, look this way. Okay, and then the tennis ball, they hit the tennis ball over here. Look this way. Follow it over here. Look this way. You know? God forbid they just say, you know, give us one just basic common sense plan. These are the laws. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to police, blah, blah, blah. Anybody does this, you go to jail. Boom. Like, you know, like it used to be. It's just more streamlined. Not sure if it will necessarily say, okay, well, I'm be interested how it works out for you guys. I mean, hopefully it's a good thing. Patty, I still am shocked that people saw the actual shooting. It never dawned on me that it was on purpose for trauma effect. Yeah, 100%. It had to be. And, you know, this is all speculation. This is all theory. Don't take me at my word. And my own personal thoughts, you know, with the AI and the altering of videos and government cover-ups and agendas and premeditated plans, we don't know what we're looking at. I mean, I am convinced that I seen a video, the first video that I seen of Charlie Kirk getting shot is no longer on the internet, you know, and it's a video that it's why I think that a lot of people were saying in the first place that there was a chest plate, because what I seen was a hole blow open in his shirt and I seen black underneath of it. I seen no blood. I just seen, that's what I seen. My buddy said, hey, did you hear that Charlie Kirk got shot? And I said, no. And then there was a link that he sent me. I click on it. And then I'm like, holy fuck. But I just see this hole open up in his shirt and there's black underneath. Well, then I see, you know, and he was wearing a white t-shirt that said freedom. Well, later I see a picture of him that earlier that day he was wearing a black t-shirt. So did he just put the white t-shirt over the black t-shirt? And then that's what I seen? I don't know. But then all of a sudden that video is gone. And then all of a sudden we just see, like, you know, yeah, that very graphic on purpose video that they wanted everybody to see 100 times. You know, it wasn't the shot that was heard around the world. It was the blood gushing out of the neck that was seen around the world 100 times unnecessarily, including children. I think teachers are literally like rolling fucking, you know, TVs into the fucking classroom. Look what they did. You know, I don't know how that works anymore. I don't think they roll TVs into classrooms anymore. I don't know how it works. But. So they need to arm teachers or put armed military vets as security. 100%. You know, the problem with you know, like we have the police, I believe that, you know, police the schools. Well, when I was in junior high, my high school or my junior high police, he was a Tacoma police officer, actually a city police officer. And he followed us to high school. He was our junior high cop for 2 years. And then he just happened to come to Lincoln High School, where I went to high school at for 4 years. And he actually helped me get my radar detector back. Somebody stole my radar. And this was like fucking 1988, 89. Got my radar detector back. That guy ended up pulling up in a park. Now, his name, you can look this up. His name was David Brame. He became the Tacoma police chief later on, you know, years later. Was very abusive to his wife. They get a divorce, custody battle. He pulls up next to her in a parking lot. She's got the kids. He's supposed to take the kids. She gets in the car, in his car, to have a discussion, and he kills her and then kills himself in front of the kids that are in the car next to him. So the two kids are sitting in her car, and then their mom and dad are in the dad's car, murder-suicide. This is my Tacoma police officer. You know, this is my school cop. So I have a little bit of pushback about men with guns allegedly protecting kids, because a lot of those guys are unhinged, and a lot of them have, you know, a lot of those guys go on, you go on to find out that the reason why they wanted to be around the kids in the first place is not good. So you got to be really, really diligent about who you have around our kids with guns and people in power, because kids are automatically going to be submissive to somebody holding a gun. It's human nature. So, you know, cautionary tale. I'm not saying it happens a lot, but that's what happened here in my situation. Oops, why did I hide that comment? Let's see here. Hold on. What are we doing here? His kids are eventually come across a video someday, which is very sad. Yeah. You know, I don't know how old his kids are. We're talking about Charlie Kirk, right? Most schools use projectors on a dry erase board, I believe. A lot of cops are former military, so they deal with PTSD. And that's the sad thing. and you know, and that's the problem right there, is that the can't say that word on YouTube, I guess. I don't know if it's just for I'm not monetized, but you know, when they off themselves, it happens way too often in the military because they're being tortured. It's just slow torture. You know, everything is an agenda. Oh my God, you are right though. Down here at Grady Judd, the sheriff constantly arresting former law enforcement. Yeah, no, it's but I'll tell you what, you guys want to hear a crazy story. Daylight 1 and 3. Yeah. Here in Tacoma, you know, this is a libtard state through and through. Our governor is a horrible person. Our governor is, he's not male or female, Bob Ferguson. He's Pat from Saturday Night Live. Ooh, 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 I'm Pat. Ooh, ooh. You know, he's that fucking guy. I don't even really think he has any genitals. I think he's just fucking, I don't know what he is. But I just wish he would fucking disappear. I cannot fucking stand that guy. He's such a fucking piece of shit. The laws that you know, the way that they treat our kids in the state, you know, sex changes and the mutilation and the fucking parents don't have a right to know. And one guy said if they're old enough to have their period, they're old enough to make their own decisions, and parents don't have a right. Some bullshit. And this guy is a gay pedophile, and his husband is a principal. I mean, these motherfuckers are just disgusting, man. You can't make this shit up. You like the Pat impression? I've been practicing that. I'm not good at impressions, sweet tea, but that's literally, if you look at Bob Ferguson, he looks like Pat from Saturday Night Live. Can't be worse than Maura Healey we have here. Well, you know, this is the problem, Cotrain. What they've done. I mean, the mayors, the governors. It's crazy that we're all saying that. You know, like, and I believe you. You know, and it's, why are all these people? Where did they all come from? How can we vote these people in? Because, you know why? Because they give us. Here you guys go. Here's pile A of shit, and here's pile B of shit. Pick one. Which one do you want? Which pile of shit do you want to vote for? You know, it's the illusion of choice. It's the duopoly, the Democrat Republican, Coke, Pepsi, Xerox, IBM. You know, it's the illusion of choice, and it's all bullshit. The presidents are not elected. They're selected. And it always goes to the highest bidder. And they're selected before the election. I've always known this, and I got caught up in Trump's fucking bullshit. And I'm not buying it anymore. I can't picture him. Got to look him up. Pat, he's funny. He wears suspenders. You can give enough people free shit, you will eventually win. Yeah. You know, and that's what people want these days. You know, it's crazy. Like, I see that on Facebook, like how happy people are. You know, people will spend so much time looking for free shit and the discounts and, you know, how to save $1 when it's so much easier. You know, I mean, it's easier said than done. But once you get the ball rolling, so much easier just to make money and buy the shit you want. You know, people need to learn, you know, part of the problem in this country that has been in the, you know, is the relationships. You know, it was a problem before social media because of TV and the movies and music, and, you know, people were very easily influenced. And, you know, I've been single since 2014. You know, I date and I go out, and I've seen a couple women, for a little while type of thing, you know what I mean? But I've basically been single since 2014. And if you're not in a healthy relationship, that's what's holding America back. People are getting pregnant way too, girls are getting pregnant way too early. They're not staying together. There's no family unit. And, with social media and all the dating apps and all that kind of stuff, it's like nobody has any loyalty. And you could literally, tell your significant other, oh, I love you, you're the one, and then go in the bathroom and tell that to somebody else on the phone. You could tell that to 5 people on the phone. Hookers don't count, bro. Yeah. The funny thing, Coach Train, I would never be with a hooker. But I do have a buddy that we have massage parlors now. Like when they destroyed all the small businesses in 2020, like they're all gone around here. They all got replaced with tattoo shops and massage parlors. And my buddy went to one of the massage parlors, and I always knew, they talk about the happy ending. Well, he had full on sex, like a disgusting human being, with somebody in one of these massage parlors on the street that I live on. The street that I live on, there's probably 15, and I'm not lying. It's a long road. It's mountain highway. It's a stretch, probably 15 massage parlors. And I'm guessing they all, we all have that one buddy, right? Yeah, 100%. And he's a good guy, but he's half Korean, half Irish. I just, men are pigs, man. Some of those guys are just like, Jesus Christ, dude. I don't know. That's what alcohol will do too. It's the reason they let 20 million people come in and spoil them. Yep. And how many more people are coming? Can we talk about the crap food because people buy on EBT with hundreds of dollars on their balance? They pay for lottery and cigarettes and beer with their own money. Yep. My mom worked for DSHS, Department of Social Health and Services, for 33 years here in Washington. So, she was one of the people that, would give, and this will kind of go into an AI conversation. She worked there from, I'll say sometime in the 80s to 2017. She retired in March of 2017, and then she died in June of 2017 from a brain aneurysm. So she got to enjoy 2 months of retirement. And I'll never forget her coming home from a retirement thing they gave her at her work. And she just literally dropped the plaque on the floor. I never seen her do that before. It was like, I just knew she fucking hated that place, man. 33 years working for the state of Washington. So, yeah, she used to give, people would come in and get the food stamps or whatever. And then it turned into where, you just didn't do local. You didn't really do local anymore. They made it to where you would handle, cases, food stamp cases and shit from people from other districts or even, other cities. It became really weird. Well, then they introduced this system called Lean. And I'm going to say this is 2015. And I'll never forget. I remember because I've been listening to Alex Jones for a long time. And I remember hearing him say one day when my mom was talking about this Lean system, because this is what she was saying. She said they introduced this new system. She hated it. And granted, this is 10 years ago. It said the computer started telling them when they would come to work. She gets off at 5 o'clock, right? So at 4 p.m., she would get a notification on thing, and this Lean system would tell her whether she would come in at 7, 8, or 9 o'clock. There was 3 different start times. Then the computer started counting keystrokes. It started, it wanted to know when you were gone away from your computer, what you were doing. It was like the beginning of AI, way back then. And Alex Jones called it Kaizenizing. And at this time I was in construction. I was working we were building Kaiser Permanente buildings. and I was the head laborer, and I was driving a telehandler, which is basically like an outdoor forklift with an extension boom on it. Okay. And we were actually, I was working inside of it. It's the largest pharmacy in the state of Washington. It's in like Renton, Tukwila, for the Kaiser Permanente. It goes underground. It's right next to the Federal Reserve. I'm going to go off on a tangent. I don't want to get sidetracked here. That guy said something similar, but Alex Jones at that time was talking about Kaizenizing. Have you guys ever heard that term before, Kaizenizing? And that basically means being maximum efficiency. Like everything is done to maximum efficiency. Toyota is the one that came up with Kaizenizing model. And it basically starts eliminating jobs because you don't need as many people when everything is maximally efficient. And I had a conversation with the guy that was in charge of that pharmacy. And I was sitting on the telehandler. I'll never forget this. And I was telling him about my mom, right? We were just talking early morning one morning. And he goes, you know what? When I said that word Kaizen, I told him a little story. He goes, there was a Japanese guy that they brought here one day from Toyota. And he was fucking going through our business with a fine-tooth comb. Like he goes, for example, one guy, it was something about a pallet. And they did something with the pallet when they were done unloading it. And the Japanese guy said, no, for now on, you let the delivery guy take that pallet and do A, B, and C, and I want it done like that every time from now on. And so he's going through and maximizing their efficiency, right? This is 2015, 10 years ago. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, the reason why that's happening to you is because they're Kaizenizing everything. And she got mad at me. She's like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? Like my mom would fly off the handle. Good morning, Dawn. I'll catch up to the chat in a sec. She goes, what the fuck does that have to do anything? What the fuck is Kaizenizing? She just kind of just storms out of the room. A couple days later, I come home for lunch and she's waiting for me because she would come home for lunch too. She just looks at me. She goes, I hate when you're right. I go, what do you mean? She just shows me a piece of paper and it says, it's a whole memo from the state of Washington, and it has the word Kaizen in it, basically telling them that they're trying to make their job more efficient. And it literally had that word Kaizen. She highlighted it. So long story short, I know that there's global agendas and these, they roll these things out, and I don't know where I'm going with this, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going off on a tangent. Let me get back to the chat. Let's see here. Sweet tea, I'm pretty sure they're putting a stop to being able to buy certain things. And they are. You can't buy sugar and stuff like that now. Here they had a scandal where they were going to the casino and with just straight up withdrawing cash at the casino. It doesn't cover certain things, but you can buy chips, candy bars, no problem. Interesting. Oh my goodness, Asada, that's awful. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Around here, if you say you're a junkie, they'll give you stamps. Here in Washington, they want to give you drugs. We have a drug program now. They're trying to take our tax money and give it to the drug people. I think you can get like fentanyl or whatever. I don't know exactly how it works. Japanese and Chinese workers are like ants, robotic, all follow the leader. Yeah, it's and in that Kaizen model, if you've ever seen the movie Gung Ho, I think that came out in like 1986 with Michael Keaton. That was about Kaizenizing and that whole thing. If you remember how that worked and the strike and all that, that was the beginning of the Kaizen, because Toyota is the one that started that. And if you remember in the hot tub scene, you don't just, it's not just maximum efficiency in that sense. It's not just, it's like Don said, they are like ants because they do everything together. They move in tandem, It's maximum efficiency for life with the food, with the living situation. It's not an American way of living. We're not accustomed to that. We have a lot more land here. So we move around. And So I don't know, guys. I don't have any answers to any of that, but we're definitely going to find out about the autism today, which I find fascinating. Let me see if I can find any more videos real quick. Let me just go back to the top feed. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. So we've got a lot of just Israeli propaganda on X right now. This one says Tucker. Everybody's blocking. They call him Two-Faced Tucker. PBD podcast. They called him Two-Faced Tucker. Everybody's attacking him. Everybody's attacking Candace Owens. But it's not everybody. It's just people that are trying to silence the truth. People that don't want us looking into the ballistics and their obvious bullshit lies. So it's like they are programmed. Well, they are programmed on. It's like they're very programmed from an early age. My stepdad was Japanese, and he was what you call Nisei, which is second generation. But his mom and dad immigrated over here. And then in 1945, World War II, they were all rounded up and put in a Japanese internment camp. And even then, that's where my dad was born at. He was born, I just took my granddaughter there the other day. It's the Washington State Fairgrounds. They turned it into an internment camp during the war. That's where my dad was born at, my stepdad. He passed away too. But even then, they didn't complain. They took everything. They took their houses. My dad had 9 siblings, and they yanked him out of school. They lost their jobs, took their cars, took their houses, took everything in the name of national security, which was complete bullshit. The Japanese were no threat to, they've never been any threat. In my opinion, the Japanese bombing was staged. They allowed that to happen. That's just my own opinion. But anyway, they were all given $20,000. Bill Clinton apologized in 92, and then they paid like reparations to the Japanese Americans. My dad was like one of the last ones to get it. And I mean, whatever. Even back then, $20,000. None of the Japanese Americans could give a fuck. They didn't need $20,000, to be honest. But it was what it was. It was like a official apology. So. But anyway, for these guys, we're gonna have to block Tucker. You know what? I tell those guys to go fuck your mother, and they're probably just bots, anyways. I don't know how it works, but I don't let anybody tell me who to block or what to think. You know what I mean? It's like, in fact, when somebody is saying that, oh, you got to block this person, you already know that you need to go see what they're talking about. Marco Rubio, and these aren't my bookmarks. I'm just scrolling through it. I don't trust him for shit. He's over there fucking praying on the Wailing Wall. So I don't want to hear anything he has to fucking say. He's an Israeli simp. He's fucking an extension of Benjamin Netanyahu. You can just picture that fucking Jewish cap right on his fucking black hair. So I don't even care what that motherfucker has to say. Who takes $50,000 in a cash bag if they're doing something legitimate? So they must be talking about Tom Homan. Let's hear what Shifty Shift's saying real quick.
We need some Republicans of good conscience to turn down the RFK Juniors that are going to endanger the public health, or the Pete Hegseths that are going to endanger the national security, and to call for the resignation of people like Tom Homan. I mean, how can you have a top enforcement official, the border czar like Tom Homan, who took $50,000 from undercover agents in a bag with the apparently, reportedly, the promise of helping deliver federal contracts when he was going to take a position in the Trump administration?
I mean, what a great politician Shifty Schiff is. You know what I mean? He is, look at him. He can just take it straight in that mouth. I mean, and he is the poster child of hypocrisy. He is the poster child of pedophilia. He is the poster, because there's a story of him and that 12-year-old little African boy in the hotel. Anybody know about that story? You could look that up. I believe he's from Oakland. And I mean, you don't even have to look up Oakland. We already know what fucking state Oakland's in. Come on. West Coast, south of San Francisco. I mean, the guy is just a fucking complete moron. So he's complaining about Tom Homan taking some bribe. I don't even know the story behind that. I mean, good for Tom Homan. Give him a couple more bags of cash. Tom Homan, in my opinion, deserves, they should give him a few more good bags of cash for doing such a great job. In fact, Adam, go fuck yourself. And Tom Homan, great job. You need another 50,000. So good to catch part of a live Osada. Thanks. I got to get to work. See y'all soon. Okay, Patty. Thank you for stopping by. Joe Della, good to see you. All right. Good morning. Let's see what else we got here. See, this is just more propaganda. This says, and they're attacking Tucker. It takes a truly evil person to go to a righteous man's funeral, make an anti-Semitic statement, and then laugh like this while the audience sits in shocked silence. I mean, come on. You know, first of all, what you're not allowed to do, you know, what do they call that? You know, a little bit of relief, comic relief at a funeral. Everybody's got to sit there and just fucking bawl their eyes out for fucking 10 hours. I mean, come on. People are, yeah, you know, of course, it's gotta hit home. And, you know, I think with RFK, when I look at this goes back to my statement about, is history going to repeat itself? It was 2 months and 2 days apart between Martin Luther King and RFK, 1968. You know, this has all the makings of that same thing. Are they setting this up for another one? Is that what that look on his face is? Does he know what's coming down the pipe?
Oz and all of the professionals, I think you're going to find it to be amazing. I think we found an answer.
I hope they don't get, you know, I hope it doesn't happen to RFK Jr. We need him. I want him in, you know, is Tulsi in this picture? Let me see if I can get Tulsi in this picture. No, but she's right there. That's her earring. You know, I had a really good picture of those two. I think it should be RFK and Tulsi Gabbard for president next time. President, vice president. What are these? Now, why are these guys blowing holes in tires? That's pretty dangerous. I'm not going to judge anybody there yet. CG2, hello. Good morning. Good to see you. Happy Monday. Not going to judge anybody there yet, because if it's Indian truck drivers that are making U-turns and causing the deaths of Americans, then I guess, you know, we got to do what we got to do. But I'll say 90% of me is saying that's not a good idea and that those people are just retarded. But I'll hold back my judgment for now. Let's move on. Okay, Alex, let's hear your fucking, I don't know if Co-Train's still around, but let's hear Alex try to explain. And I love you, Alex, but man, I don't know why you went to Washington, D.C. and what they fucking told you, dude. Did they tell you that they're going to drop the Sandy Hook lawsuits and you can keep InfoWars and you can quit peddling methylene blue every 20 minutes on your show? I don't know what they told you. And I do believe 99% of things you say, but just like you say, Alex, you can serve somebody a 5-course meal with a beautiful tomahawk steak. But if there's a pile of dookie on the plate, it ruins the whole fucking meal. So you can tell us 99% truth. And if you're going to lie to us at the crucial point, the very, you know, the most important part, then you're a fucking piece of shit, dude. I mean, I'm just going to call it like I see it. How the fuck does the bullet not go through him, dummy?
All right, about an hour ago, while I was literally driving, I saw reports that Andrew Colvett, the main official spokesperson for TPUSA, who I've met before, who's a great guy, the Liberty Movement for over a decade, had said that he talked to the coroner, and he's called me. I'm about to call him, so I'll give an update, and that Charlie was shot from the front and the left with 30-06, as we've been told, and that he was a man of steel, they said, and it bounced off the neck bones And I misread the report saying that they didn't find a bullet. No, they said they found the bullet, which is even more insane. So I'm not demonizing TPUSA or Andrew or anybody. That's what they're being told by the coroner. But I'm not a sniper. I'm not a Delta Force guy. I'm not a Navy SEAL. But I've shot hundreds of wild hogs, hundreds of deer. Been hunting. First year I shot was I was 6 years old. And I know, and I've shot a lot of stuff with 30-06, 300 Wet Mags, you name it. These are high-power rifle rounds that come out over 2,000 feet per second, 200 yards, probably going 1,800 feet per second. It doesn't bounce off things. It goes right through things. And if it hits just flesh or even gelatin in those tests they do in shooting or a wet phone book, it opens up in flesh like this. If it's a bone, it explodes and pieces go everywhere. So the idea, it's even more insane because I got part of it right that they say it didn't go through the neck. That's official. I've now read the statement, not just a press report that got it wrong. So I had that part wrong. But I got it right that it went in and didn't go out the back, they're claiming from the coroner, according to the TPUSA spokesperson that talked to the coroner, and that it was found under the skin. Like it was a BB gun or something. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you can shoot an old refrigerator or an old truck or whatever with a 30-06, and it'll shoot through usually both sides of the doors right through the whole truck. I mean, wow. Anybody that's been a shooter knows that. So I'm not some ballistics expert, none of that stuff. But I've shot elk at 500 yards and the bullet goes all the way through. Very rarely does a high-powered rifle not go through. And a small hole on one side and a huge 4-inch hole in the other. So, and if it's a bone, it just explodes. And I've butchered deer, you name it, you see where it's a bone, it just goes everywhere, and there's pieces of bullet everywhere. And it still blows out the other side, pieces of it. So I'm not saying TPUSA is bad. They're not the coroner. I'm just saying what this coroner is saying, that a 30-06 bullet goes in. That's even more insane. Didn't find the bullet. I was wrong about that. No, right under the surface. It just, man of steel, titanium neck, all of this. I know Trantifa's out there. I know they're attacking. I know the left, the Podesta plan wants all this terror. But I saw no evidence of Israel involved, still haven't, any of this. But I am seeing this now. This is crazy. So I'm going to call Andrew and talk to him, and I'll give you an update on that. And it's just what he's being told, so don't blame him. But this is crazy, absolutely crazy. I'll give you updates as it unfolds. Even crazier than not finding the bullet is that it was there intact, like on the stretcher when Kennedy got shot with the magic bullet. No, if it hit a bone, like they say, and bounced off, it would have shattered and not been some hole in the front. It'd have been a huge, when it shattered, completely gone out. Tell me if I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I don't see how I'm wrong. God bless you all. Follow me right here on Exit Real Alex Jones, the memorial.
Sorry to play that for so long. I feel like I know Alex Jones personally because I've studied him for so long and listened to him for so long. So I'm just really trying to, it's hard to even understand what he's trying to tell us. He's really muddied the waters right there. So Joe Della, Osada looking in from across the Atlantic. I believe Trump has a great team around him. What do you guys think? Well, definitely RFK and Tulsi Gabbard are great. There's a few. Pam Bondi, I want her to go. Kash Patel, I need him to go. They're not doing their jobs. But yeah, I mean, part of his team is phenomenal. I'm just not really sure how this is all going to play out with Israel. Cinnamon. Joe Della, I disagree. He mostly just those who will not stand up for their beliefs, meaning trying to bring in a different perspective. Just yes people, not appropriate in their positions. Just my opinion. And, Cinnamon Girl, I think CG2, I should say. This is what we're all feeling. We got lied to. We feel like we got lied to. They did not represent their true agendas when they were electing, during the election. And a lot of these people are yes people. And I was shocked to find out that Pam Bondi, our Attorney General, and Susie Weiss, the White House, with that she is, nobody gets to Trump unless you go through Susie. They're very pro-Israeli, and they together, which is really strange, run a consultant firm, and Pfizer is their client. So they basically are big pharma, which is shocking. So, you know, literally on one side of Trump, you have RFK and Tulsi Gabbard, who are really for Americans. And then you have Pam Bondi, who's a lying witch. And I was all for, she fooled me hook, line, and sinker in the beginning until I figured it out. And it was a lot of it had to do with Alex Jones exposing her. You know, so it's hard to know who to believe right now. I thought high-powered rifle bullets are meant to cause little damage, like for hunting. You want to kill the deer, but don't want to tear up the animal. I can't answer that, Sweet Tea. We can only go through the experts on that, you know. And like, there's one guy, I don't know if I have the video on here, but he's, you know, like one of the leading ballistic guys. He does the tests. And you could just see for yourself, like, and again, it's like, if it came from the roof, there's no way. It's impossible. It's impossible. They're calling him the Man of Steel. When they did the test, it goes through it breaks apart the bulletproof vest. So as far as, and you know, like with the animals are a lot more thick. Their bones are a lot denser. And so I don't know exactly. Let's see here. Part of his team was what? Oh yeah, I know CG2. Exactly, Sweet Tea. Through shots with high-powered velocity bullets. Yeah. So, I mean, does anybody think that the bullet was really still inside of Charlie? Is that possible? Thanks. It's nice to get a more accurate perspective. I'm judging them from the last. No, I get it, Joe Dell. We were so. I mean, I was like, oh my God, this is the dream team. We've got Kash Patel. We've got Pam Bondi. She's going to come in and man, she is going to put the hammer down. Well, meanwhile, here we are in, you know, almost October, and we're finding bodies on the streets here in Tacoma. Like, they don't even know what happened. Nobody knows nothing. They just find the dead bodies. People are shot. I mean, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And meanwhile, she's talking about going after hate speech. She goes, there's free speech and there's hate speech. And she's talking about us. She goes, and if you were out there spreading that disgusting hate, we will absolutely target you. We will come after you. Like, bitch, what? No. You need to leave. She needs to go. Like, Pam Bondi needs to get out. We need her gone. You know who we need is we need Matt Gaetz. He's on Twitter right now with the One America Network, OA1 or America One Network, whatever it is. That's who we need for Attorney General, Matt Gaetz. I don't know if it's entirely their fault. They can only do as much as their boss will allow them. It's a good point. It's a good point, Sweet Tea. No problem, Joe. You know, and the thing is that it's still like, you know, I question my thoughts about it, and I'm definitely not the expert on it for sure. I don't even like politics. I just feel like this is so important. It's not even about politics. It's about life or death of this country, for everybody's countries. You know, if America falls and Great Britain falls, they all fall. So, Bambi, hello, good morning. Co-train Bondi is going to try and ban hate speech. Yep, she is a clown. CG2 says, morning, Bambi. I watched Kash Patel being questioned by the senators, and it seems he's doing a good job. They are trying to catch him out. Well, see, that's the thing. That's the kabuki theater that fooled us all, Joe Della. I thought the same thing. When I seen him go after Adam Schiff, I said, yes. I said, this is the man. When I seen that video, I was like, that's the reason that I wasn't upset about, because I wanted Matt Gaetz so bad to be the Attorney General. And then, you know, when I found out that Kash Patel was going to get the FBI director, I was like, okay, well, at least we won this one. You know, I was like, we got Kash. He's the man. He's going to come in there and release Epstein. Him and see, Dan Bongino, the deputy FBI, he needs to go back to podcasting. Kash Patel has a 20-something-year-old Israeli honeypot girlfriend, and he's in his 40s, I think. So that's, there's a, that's, I don't know if you want to call that pedophilia, but I know you could dig into that backstory. I don't know what that's all about. It's about our future, but more important, our children. And yeah, 100%. That's the thing, Joe. That's why I'm in this. It's because I have a granddaughter now, and that's why I'm doing this, because I'm not fucking putting up with it. I cannot just stand by, and I'm just starting to say more offensive shit on purpose and at certain times to express my right of free speech, because they're not going to fucking do this to us. They're not going to fucking silence us, and they're not going to spin their fake ass fucking false flag operation like they always do into taking more of our rights away, because we will always sacrifice freedom for security. And that's the playbook. That's always the MO with these guys. Create fear, artificial fear. Please help us. Take away our rights. Just make us safe. We'll do anything. We'll listen to the machine. We'll wear a chip, whatever. Just give us the drugs and make us safe. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Same Hero said, I have 6 grandchildren and 2 of them are okay. Right on, Joe. Yeah, it's all about the kids. Here in Washington State, it's getting so out of hand with the school. I don't know what to do. Thank God we have my daughter has family in Florida, so that's definitely an option. In fact, she's a single mom, but the dad is in Florida, but he doesn't want to be part of my granddaughter's life because he's a fucking pile of garbage. But she's got an aunt down there and a couple other cousins and stuff. So she could go to Florida because the school system's a lot better there. We could do private school. I don't know if that's any better. Homeschool. But I refuse to let any of their fucking, in fact, even the daycares the preschools are doing it. Because I went to, so my daughter worked at a daycare, and that's when my granddaughter started daycare. She worked at the daycare that they went to, out in the middle of the country. Nice little daycare. Then my daughter moved and she became a property manager. And so she sent my granddaughter to a different daycare. And she went there for 1 day, maybe 2 days. I don't know how long she went there for, 1 or 2 days. And I picked her up from daycare. And this is the first day that I started watching my granddaughter, because, before I didn't need to watch her because she was living at home with her mom. My daughter was. And the second I walked into that daycare, I knew I could just feel the fucking energy. I'm like, what the fuck is this place, man? I already knew I was not going to let this go until I had to tell my daughter, I'm like, man, I don't know, something about this place. And then she just automatically told me, yeah, Mila was crying when I picked her up yesterday. And apparently she had to, they were told, if you cry, you have to go cry behind the wall or something. Well, I looked it up on the website. It was KinderCare was the name of the place. Oh, yeah. DEI, inclusive talk, rainbow fucking bullshit in daycare. That was the last day. She didn't go back to the daycare. She's been back at the old daycare ever since. And I got to drive all the way out to the fucking country to get her. We made it to where I pick her up 3 days a week and her grandmother picks her up 2 days a week because she lives out there in the country. So I just, I'm going to do what I got to do. I refuse to allow this to happen. It's not going to happen. So, because my granddaughter is the sweetest little girl on the planet. And I'm not going to let these fucking monsters do. I mean, I'll fucking... Our generation, guys, we're going to be the greatest fucking generation of old people to ever live. We're going to be the grumpiest fucking... we're going to be fucking out on the street corners fucking brawling. I mean, I just see it coming it's going to happen. We're not going to fuck. As we get older, we're all going to fucking die anyway. Why let this shit happen, without a fight? It just doesn't need to, What did Ronald Reagan say? Those who have the most to lose do the least to prevent its happening. So true. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. Got to jump off. Have a good day, everyone. Yeah, I think Tommy's about to come on, so we'll wrap it up here. Bambi, I fear for the future. There's boys and there's girls. Fucking 100% co-train. Statement of the day right there. That's it. All the rest is fucking agenda, garbage, bullshit for control and torture and sexual pleasure of pedophiles. And we're not going to allow it. Enough is enough. The fact they don't want to release the Epstein files is just all we need to know. Won't be a good thing. Failure. Yeah. I think hate speech should be banned. Well, everybody has their opinion. The thing is, Bambi, is if you label something hate speech and then they ban, if they're able to ban something that they deem as hate speech, then they can deem other things hate speech. That's how they get us every time. We can't give up that ground. Now, society has punishments and checks and balances for hate speech. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody wants to come around and start disrespecting, it's fuck around and find out type of shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's but we can't allow false flag operations and agendas, premeditated, just orchestrated lies to take place and then to take away our freedom. The Constitution is the Constitution. The people that wrote it knew better than we did. The greatest people and the smartest people have already lived, and we need to trust what they said. You shouldn't have the right to go out in public and offend people, and that's where society comes in, and the checks and balances take place. Bambi, we don't need the government involvement. Double X chromosomes and XY chromosomes, 100%, Joe. I'm sorry, but where is people personal responsibility? Well, that's the thing, Bambi. We can't allow. See, the government has tied the hands of people from. We don't have. See, here's a perfect example. And George Carlin used to nail this with like the politically correctness and stuff like that. We don't have toilet paper. We now have bathroom tissue. And the one that I love is we don't have people stealing. We don't have thieves. We don't even have shoplifting anymore. We have loss prevention. You have to talk to the loss prevention people. So this is a problem. It's both sides of the coin. It's like they talk about hate speech, but they don't talk about the speech that absolutely destroys society that they force down our throats. Words like loss prevention. Words like LGBTQ community. Words like all-inclusive and transgenderism and all this fucking nonsense. That's what they should be addressing. Bambi, the thing is, where do you draw the line? 100%, Joe. There is no line. And so that's why, this is the way that it has to be. It has to be to where people are allowed to police themselves. We do need police. We do need a government, but we don't need the police and the government overstepping their bounds. If somebody comes up to you and says, Bambi, you're A, B, C, and D, and I don't like your people and I don't like the way you look, you have the right. You at least should have the right to shut them up physically. Like, you want to talk to me like that? Boom! Right in the nose, motherfucker. Bleeding nose. And they're going to learn their lesson. I mean, I guess that's why we used to spank kids. And I'm one of the people that never spanked my kids. And my kids turned out just fine. But I'm not saying that that's the way to go. I mean, I think that there's certain kids out there that do need to be spanked, I guess. I don't know. It's a whole nother story. I don't think the KKK or any race baiting should be allowed to spread their hate in public, especially where impressionable kids, 100%. Now, I agree with that. But they should not also be allowed to put LGBTQ in the schools and say it's okay to become a boy and you can pick your gender and all that nonsense. So it gets convoluted. You know what I mean? White supremacist groups, that target group are, and this is the problem, is that they're getting us to focus on the extremes. Of course, we don't want the KKK hate speech, and we don't want them talking about it's okay to cut your pee-pee off. Why can't we just be normal? Talk about normal shit. Talk about educating our children, talking about safe streets, educating, the youth on how to, program computers or work on cars and do life things. You know what I mean? It's just, you shouldn't be allowed to go out and encourage hate or violence on it. No, I 100% agree. 100% agree. We should all just get along. Well, it is 4:00. I'm going to end the show. And I appreciate everybody joining. Bambi, Co-Train, Joe, CG2, Sweet Tea, Patty, Dawn. Thank you guys for hanging out. I always appreciate the feedback, and stay safe. And we're going to hear about autism today. So is it going to be, I don't know. I guess we just have to wait and see. I guess that's the main story of today, is they have an answer for autism. That's the quote from Trump. There's an answer for autism, and they're going to talk about it today with Dr. Oz and RFK Jr., and we'll see. Here in my state, you can't get charged with harassment. If you go, you can get charged for harassment, go in public and scream the N-word. And, let's talk about that on the next show. Have a good one, guys.